All right, my friends, and this is going to be day number 4 of the Carnivore Diet, eating out only. Only, exactly. And let's see what we have got. So first things first, we went to the supermarket and we did not just get us one set of utensils, we got 3 sets of utensils. There's a spoon, a fork, and a knife in there. There's actually salt and pepper and a napkin too. I don't think I'll ever use any one of those. It's too much of a hassle to even deal with them. However, yesterday when we got the chicken, the fried chicken, they gave us a fork, and the single fork is actually what we're gonna be using today, saving these for a rainy day so we don't have to do dishes. We don't like doing dishes. Dishes is for amateurs. And when I went to the supermarket, I also bought this. That is right, it's a knifey knife. Why I got this one in particular? Well, I saw it obviously, but it has a serrated edge. I'm not sure if you can see that in the package. And generally speaking, a plain edge is actually a better knife. But somehow I've had good experience with a serrated edge, and I used to have a kitchen knife with one of those for a long time, and it was always sharp enough, not like a regular knife which needs to be sharpened. So I got this for the new kitchen, the van kitchen. Anyway, having it was $5, $4.99 plus tax, so it's not the world. But we don't have any napkins here, so we have to open up our paper towel roll. I did not get this today. I got this from Home Depot a few days ago when I went there. Say 1 piece, we need 2 pieces of napkins. Don't be wasteful. Try to put the rest right back in there. And here we go. Here we go. Go on. There you go. See, looks just like new. Now, what is going to be our lunch today? Our dinner, our breakfast. The one meal for the day. What is it going to be? We had chicken yesterday. I got bad news for you. We are having chicken today. It's a different chicken. Clearly, yesterday's chicken was yesterday's chicken. So today, supermarket, they happen to be having rotisserie chickens. And they're already cooked. Whole chicken for, I don't know if you can see that, $8. This is a roughly 2.5 pound chicken for $8. Rotisserie. This can feed a family of 4 for $8. They cook it for you. It's a no-brainer. Why would you ever want to buy your own chicken and actually spend the time? I want to have 2 hours in the kitchen cooking the chicken on a hot day. Let's not be silly. However, chicken is not going to be the only thing we're going to be having. It might be enough, but we want variety. So the other thing that I got, I found it on the shelf. Beef tips with gravy. Yeah, this is also already cooked. It says 17 grams of protein per serving. It's fully cooked, microwavable container. Obviously, I'm not using a microwave. It's 15 ounces in there, just under a pound. Clearly, a lot of that is actually gravy. So how many servings are in here? About 3.5 servings per container. That means we are having about 30, 40, 51 and 8, 59, 60. There's about 60 grams of protein in here. That's a lot. That's a lot of protein. This was on sale, $5.99. So between the chicken, $8, and this, $6, we're only spending $14 on food. Considerably less than the 20-something I spent yesterday. Okay, this is what it looks on the inside. Want me to open it up? Let's open that up. So this is a microwavable container. I'm sure you're supposed to open it a little bit to let some air steam out. I'm sure I could also read the instructions. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Does that look good? You see it before I do. Does that look good? Is that yummy? Beef tips with gravy. Wow, that looks like dog food. Gravy has this habit of making everything look like dog food when the gravy is cold. Yeah, there you go. Beef tips with gravy. Our first spoon of the day. Enjoy. Not that bad. It doesn't taste that bad. Probably better when it's warm. Let's check out one more thing. Carbohydrates. Total sugars is 2. Includes 2 grams of added sugar. So if you have 3 grams of carbohydrates per serving, that is roughly 11 grams of carbohydrates in the entire tray. But the carbohydrates are 100% in the gravy. So the more of the gravy we can leave behind, the fewer of those carbohydrates we're going to be eating, which is what we want. No carbohydrates. Yes, I went to McDonald's to get my soda because it's a good deal. This much ice, rest soda equals roughly 20 ounces. A 20-ounce bottle of diet soda at 7-Eleven costs $2. It costs $2. Only here I've got ice, so it stays cold longer. And when you fill it up and give it a nice good sip, like down to go thirsty, right? And then you top it off again, you're actually getting an additional 10 ounces of soda. And you still have ice in there. And a container. And a straw. So why wouldn't you want to do that? So, as usual, our trusty gloves. Because we're going to be eating with our hands. How else do you eat chicken if not with your hands? They got bones on it and everything, right? You gotta eat that shit with your hands. Sorry, you have to eat that stuff with your hands. I mean, it's like pizza, right? You have got to eat pizza with your hands. Who eats pizza? What moron eats pizza with a fork and a knife? Except for the moron that's an ex-mayor of New York City. Whatever. So well, before we get to the chicken, actually, I want to have another bite of this. But I also, it is actually good. All right. Now, I'm pretty sure this would be easier to eat if I actually had something like a plate to put it on, instead of eating it straight out of the bag. But then we have to do dishes again. So here we got the chicken. Tastes like chicken. When I buy these chickens, the pre-cooked ones, I always make sure I get one with the lightest skin. At some stores, the employees are cooking the living hell out of those chickens. Not only is the skin super dark, which you could say is great because everybody loves crispy skin, right? But you gotta remember, this is rotisserie chicken, not fried chicken. It's not gonna be crispy. But yeah, they cook it so long. That chicken is so dry. You just want to hit someone over the head with it. Not enjoyable at all. You get a wing. Come on, come to puppy. Okay, there was one wing. Here's the other wing. The wings are good. Here another drumstick. The meat came right off already, or rather the meat stayed on the chicken and I only got a bone in my hand. So, of course, we're gonna keep eating. I might even put some more of my fancy hot sauce on there, just to spice things up a little bit. You know, maybe when I get to the breasts, because they're most likely dry. All right, so we're gonna be alternating between our beef tips and gravy. Oh, that's a nice big chunk of meat over here. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a nice big chunk of meat. So when you do carnivore, obviously you'll have to eat things that will make you happy, right? If you're not much of a meat eater, this might not be your diet, to be quite honest. If you have other dietary requirements, or if your healthcare provider tells you not to do this, Don't do it. I mean, you can if you want to, but who am I to tell you to do it? So generally, you're speaking, you eat anywhere between 2 and 3 pounds of meat a day on this diet. You use whatever combination of different meats, you know, animal, land animal, air animal, water animal. I don't care. You don't want the leanest meat. You want a good amount of fatty meat. Animal fat is very important, especially if you cut out all kinds of plant foods, right? You're also cutting out all plant oils. Avocados, for example, or peanuts, they contain a lot of oils themselves, and those oils can help you in your digestion. If you only eat lean meat, you're not getting any kind of fats, oils. Even if you're not getting it from the plants and you're not getting it from the animal, your digestive system will struggle. It needs the oil for processing. In the old days, hunting people, tribes, in the old days, hunting communities, tribes, always faced a challenge during the winter time when they were hunting wild game, deer, moose, elk, whatever it is. The challenge always was that the lean on these wild animals, in comparison to modern farm animals, is very lean. And when you only eat lean meat for several months, this can very easily lead to bad constipation, right? So many of these tribes were not stupid, right? They learned over time. And what they would usually do is, because humans, we are also congregating around waterways, right? So if there's a lake, a river, the ocean, they would usually go in both directions. They eat some of their diet from hunted meat in the winter, and they would eat some of their diet from fish that they can catch. That's why in the old days, salmon was a massively important fish. Whaling was super important because both of them have super high amounts of fat on them. And that would help in their people's digestion. And for whaling in particular, obviously the oil could be used for other things as well. But if you do a carnivore diet on purpose, you've got to keep that in mind too. Animal fats are a super important part of your diet. I've seen some numbers reported that say you should be consuming up to 50% of your diet in animal fat. I find that a little extreme. It's delicious. This is the thigh, right? You know, people who don't like to eat the skin, you know, it's great if you don't want to eat the skin, but that's where the fat is, you know. Now the rotisserie chicken, part of what a rotisserie prides itself in is that through its rotating force, the fat gets rendered from all sides of the chicken and has a chance of dripping down. And if you have a commercial rotisserie, you know, you have usually multiple layers of chicken, so the fat from the chicken above drips onto the chicken below, which kind of like enhances flavor, but it keeps on dripping, right? And that is great. However, any kind of food that you eat that actually has a gravy with it, well, gravy, the three base parts of a gravy, some kind of stock, usually the animal drippings with water to give it flavor, fat, and flour. the fat and the flour combined make a roe, which is the thickening agent of a gravy. And the drippings and water as a combination gives you the flavor and the volume of your gravy. So when you roast a chicken or turkey in the oven, or even a beef or pork roast or something, you should always add some water to the pan. The drippings don't stick on the bottom and burn, which makes cleanup a horrible adventure. But also when you catch all these drippings, you can, in the end, pour it off into a container. If you want to let it sit for a little bit, the fat will come to the top, and you can use it as it's like a small pitcher. It's called a fat separator. You can pour that all in there. You can pour it straight from the baking dish in there, right? And it would separate after a few minutes, maybe half an hour, the fat to the top and the actual juices to the bottom. And in this fat separator, it has a spout that's not on the top, but on the bottom. So you can pour everything out all the way just to the edge of where the fat is. This way you have pure liquid on one side and fat on the other side. But now you can use that fat, put it back into a frying pan, add your flour to it, make a roe as a thickening agent, and then slowly pour the other liquid back into it. Right? This is how you make gravy, right? So the animal fats are super important. Even for basic cooking. Of course, you could use butter, and butter is delicious. I would always recommend, once your gravy is kind of done, take a quarter stick or half a stick or a whole stick, depends on how much you have and how much you like it, of butter, and mix it into your gravy. There's a nice creaminess to it, right? But why would you want to substitute the fat that comes with your meat for a different fat? You already got the fat in your product. You paid for it, and it's healthy. Oh, did you just say it's healthy? Yeah, I think it's healthy. You know what's not healthy? Processed foods. And the reason for processed foods not being healthy is not so much because they're processed. The reason for the unhealthy part of processed foods is that it's a separation from food components from each other. I got a rotisserie chicken. This chicken comes with a predefined amount of fat on it. Right? I cannot get more fat out of this chicken. But if I buy my fat separately, I can consume fat in much larger amounts than would be natural. Eating one chicken with a one chicken fat, natural combination. But eating one chicken, removing the fat, and then adding tons of fat from an outside source, all of a sudden it's out of balance. So I don't think the processing itself necessarily is the bad part about processed foods. It's a separation of the components of your food, which means you can consume them in an imbalanced form. Now, essentially everything you buy in a supermarket is concentration of one thing over another, so you can very easily imbalance yourself. Oh, so delicious. Good. Very nice. Let's have some more beef. Because delicious. Ooh, this one. It's a nice big piece too. Look at the size of that. And here on the side, I'm collecting extra gravy. Right. Now I admit, I'm a gravy person. I love gravy. Mashed potatoes and gravy. Absolutely awesome. That piece had a lot of grizzle on it. Fatty stuff. But you know, it's part of the animal and it's part of what we should be eating, right? I'm done. Alright. Whew. I'm finished. I'm first. I get dessert first.